Foster there in lane 3. The world champion, the defending champion. Popular figure throughout the world. Mark McCoy, an indifferent run into these championships. He won his semi-final in 13.42. Jack Pierce was 3rd in the American Championships. Personal best of 13.36. John Ridgeon is ready. He says he's ready, and I believe him. Carlos Sala of Spain, 7th in the last Olympic final. He ran 13.60 in his semi-final. And at lane 8, I'm sure we shall see him soon. Well, Arto Brigari isn't there at the moment in lane 8. He's just been introduced, and but I can't see him unless he's down the tunnel. Well, that's extraordinary. Brigari, the silver medalist from Helsinki, had a good qualification. He faded a bit at the end, but he's not here. I wonder. So Kassanov, Jackson, Foster, McCoy, Pierce and Ridgeon. Oh, Ridgeon got away well, and he's going well, but so is Foster and McCoy leading at the moment. And Kassanov on the inside, and here comes Ridgeon, but Foster going through. Foster and Kassanov on the far side. Foster and Jackson, Ridgeon and Jackson. We've got the silver and the bronze. Ridgeon came through, so did Jackson, and we've got silver and bronze, and look at that. Well, Greg Foster was the favourite on paper. The time 13.21. He's done it again. But what about that from the two young Britons? Ridgeon was the better of the two Britons. The Soviet Kassanov faded at the end and let Ridgeon and Jackson through. But Foster got it right this time, and for once in a major championship this season, he's finished. Well, John Ridgeon doesn't want to leave.
Actually, he's come back to have a look at the replays, just desperately anxious to know whether he did get the silver or whether Colin Jackson caught him. Colin Jackson wasn't away too well, actually, but in the latter stages was closing very quickly. And perhaps as you watch this with Stuart Story, it's interesting to see what happened to McCoy, who went right out of the picture, having led.
Well, the one thing you can see from that picture is what a bad start Greg Foster got. And that's underlined by the advantage that McCoy has. And in fact, you're right, David, Jackson was badly away too. He's got 2 or 3 meters down on McCoy at this stage. Ridgeon's going the better of the two Britons, and Kassanov of the Soviet Union is ahead of Jackson at the moment. And McCoy hit that, and McCoy's in desperate trouble there, and that's where he loses it. Kassanov still ahead of Jackson, but Ridgeon on this side is going well. Now Jackson begins to overtake the Soviet athlete on the far side. Ridgeon is there for the silver by about 1.5 meters, and Jackson gets, well, I think he gets the bronze. He's leaning there, and once again, Ron, we may have a case of dipping under that beam.
I think both the British athletes there have dipped under the beam, and it's going to take a while to sort out their time. I'm with you, Stuart. I think we got silver and bronze out of that. But my word, how it changed during the race, because Mark McCoy was up there for the first 3 hurdles. It's only when Greg Foster starts to come through now, when Mark McCoy dragged a hurdle badly, and then John Ridgeon comes through on this side, and watch Colin Jackson chasing Pierce to the line. No doubt about the silver, and I think we've got the bronze as well.
Silver medal.
Superb in qualification.
Lane 4, number 1101.
Roger Kingdom,
1984 Olympic gold
the
medalist.
reigning Olympic
Roger
champion,
Kingdom,
he'll run
USA.
in lane 4. He set a new Olympic record of 13.17 in
Lane
qualification.
5, number 1074, Arthur Blake.
Arthur Blake
USA.
of the United States, 13.52 in the semi-final.
1078, Tony Campbell, USA.
Tony Campbell, the world indoor champion, he runs in lane 6. John Ridgeon of Great Britain in lane 7. And Mark McCoy, the former Commonwealth record holder, in lane 8.
Great Britain.
Well, Blake got away well that time. He looked very early. And Jackson going well in lane 1. And Kingdom in the centre. And Jackson fading a little as Kingdom comes through. And Kingdom's going to win it. And Jackson's going to get a silver. And Kingdom wins it. Jackson second. And Campbell in third. 12.99. And Colin Jackson's got the silver. And Roger Kingdom has retained his title. He's done what Lee Calhoun did in 56 and 60. But what a run by Colin Jackson. The two Americans split by the Briton, and a generous gesture from Tony Jarrett there, who says to Colin Jackson, well, you did it when it mattered. What a performance. Well, we always thought that he could get a medal, but he faltered just before these championships. But there was no faltering here, and he might well enjoy this very fine moment. Let's just look at Jackson. He got away beautifully. Actually, Blake, to the left, out of shot at the moment, was first away. But Jackson and Jarrett both showing good technique. Jarrett, actually, having said that, faltered off that hurdle, hit a couple, but that's because of the pressure on right and left. Jackson now gets into his running. He senses that he's ahead of Jarrett. He senses that he's got a good chance. Well, he can see Kingdom now. Kingdom out of the right side of his eye. He can. He goes for the line. He looks across and says, I'm second, and he celebrates. Well, Tony Jarrett looking at the slow motion to see where he came. Fifth. Jarrett was fifth, and Ridgeon was sixth. That's unofficial. Well, if that time is confirmed, it will be the third best ever time recorded. Blake was fastest away, you can see that, and it's only here that the Olympic champion from 1984 takes over. Blake clouts that hurdle badly and falters, and he's out of the race. Campbell, well, he was hitting hurdles too, that was pressure, but Kingdom made no mistake. He retained his title. What a marvellous race that was. And Kingdom can celebrate, and this large American contingent in this crowd will celebrate with him.
Meanwhile, back in the javelin while all this
Grand Prix meeting for the 110 metres hurdles, and here's the lineup and Stuart's story.
Oh, Colin Jackson of Great Britain on the inside, Valley of Cuba in 2, Jarrett of Great Britain in lane 3, the Olympic champion Roger Kingdom in 4, Greg Foster, the world champion, in 5, Campbell of the United States in 6, and Pierce of the United States in lane 7. Away this time, and Jackson got a good start in lane 1, and Kingdom in the middle. It's between these two and Foster coming through, and it's Kingdom in the middle and Jackson in lane 1. Kingdom's going to take it. Kingdom wins it, Jackson second, and perhaps Campbell in third. It was a very tight Tony Campbell, 12.89, and the world record has gone once again, and Kingdom has taken the world record apart. That world record set, as you saw, by Ronaldo Nehemiah in 1981. Foster was in that race too. He did 13.03. He was second then. And Colin Jackson must have had a marvellous time there too. And the celebrations begin, and Jackson, well, he was in the greatest race of all time. The crowd here, totally and utterly enthralled. Let's watch it. Jackson got the start, right of picture in the all-red strip. Kingdom in the centre, not away too badly. And on the near side, Pierce going well. It's a very, very clean first hurdle. Watch Jarrett too in the third lane from the right. He's going well too. But this is where Kingdom, he hit that one, but he starts to go just a little. Jackson lost the main part of his rhythm in the centre of the race. And I talk there at a very high level indeed. Foster's beaten. Jackson's there. He carts that hurdle badly. Kingdom charges off that hurdle. He beats Jackson by, what, about a couple of yards? Enough. And the world record has gone. Jarrett, we reckon, in 7th place. But this is the place where they all come. The world record is confirmed. And on the board it says 12.92, which is rounded up. And Kingdom finishes off here what Martin Lauer began in 1959, because the first world record to be set in this stadium was in the high hurdles at 13.2. There it is for the crowd to see. One of the great moments. And, of course, this very fortunate crowd here to see it. Kingdom, well, he's always had the edge. It was 2-all over Jackson on this season outdoors. But he had the power. It was the second half of the race that really gave him the edge over Colin Jackson. Jackson got a good start. But look at the way he's so close to the world record holder here.
Brilliant run by Kingdom. He's been the dominant force, there's no doubt about it. And this Zurich crowd, it brings an atmosphere that's absolutely unique.
Lane 1.
Jackson for Great Britain runs in lane 5 here. Courtney Hawkins of the United States on the inside, then Jack Pierce of the United States, Tony Dees of the United States, Ronaldo Nehemiah of the United States, all the top Americans bar one. I'll mention him in a moment. Then Colin Jackson, Mark McCoy of Canada, twice Commonwealth champion, and Lee of China on the outside. Well, I said I'd mention the man that was missing. Well, it's Greg Foster. He's not here tonight. It does give a chance to one or two others. Having said that, Tony Dees beat him just last week. There's Dees just being acknowledged, 183. Tony Dees around 13.05. Right, that's Courtney Hawkins right on the inside. Jack Pierce next to him. That's 183. Tony Dees. He's not going to Tokyo. We've mentioned one or two times this evening athletes who haven't been selected. Ronaldo Nehemiah has, and it'll be his first international representing the United States since what, 1979, the World Cup. Colin Jackson, European champion, indifferent season in a sense, although he has pulled off one or two superb times. 13.09 in Rome recently, European record holder. And Mark McCoy of Canada, twice Commonwealth champion. That was in 1982 and 1986. And here's a fella who's going well, Lee of China, 13.39 this year. And that, of course, is an Asian record. He's a useful sprinter, an American-based Chinese athlete, Washington State University. Let's just remind you of the lineup once again. Hawkins on the inside, then Jack Pierce. He was second in the American Championships, incidentally, in the black strip. Second from right. Then Tony Dees, already settled, waiting to go. Ronaldo Nehemiah, Colin Jackson, Mark McCoy, and Lee. The men's 110 meters hurdles.
Well, it was a poor attempt on his first one at 570, but he made this one look very easy. Well over 6 feet tall, very powerful on the runway, and that was a great vault.
One great man succeeds at 5 meters and 70. And what a field. 4 of the world's top 6 in this race. Hawkins, Pierce, Dees, Nehemiah, Jackson, McCoy, and Lee in the men's 110 meters hurdles. Tense moments indeed. No way this time, and Pierce got away, and so did Dees, and Jackson's got a little bit to make up at the moment. Tony Dees in lane 3 going well. Nehemiah going well. Dees hit a hurdle, and Nehemiah coming through on him, and Nehemiah leading at the moment, and Dees coming back at him. Nehemiah wins it. Dees in second, and well, Hawkins or Pierce in third. It was very close at 13.25, and the wind speed minus 0.6, and the great man loves this stadium. Ronaldo Nehemiah, who goes to Tokyo to represent the United States, and look, that look on his face says absolutely everything. I am back, he said. Have a look at this. Colin Jackson left the blocks quickly, but didn't get the sort of start that one or two of the others did. Dees was up, and Nehemiah was up. Colin wavered just a little under the pressure, third from left, and McCoy was under even more pressure. That was where Dees almost had his real problem. He hit that hurdle and actually recovered very well. He had the same problem in the American trials and doesn't go to Tokyo. That's the sudden death problem they have. Let's have a look for third place as Nehemiah comes in. Dees in second, and I think it was Pierce who got third. Yes, it was. Jackson in 5th place.
Actually, a very disappointing run there for Colin Jackson. We've heard one or two stories, by the way. He had an operation on the leg that's bandaged, that he's having trouble with the other leg, and he's been out of action, and certainly it shows.
Yeah, there certainly isn't that rhythmic snap about his hurdling at the moment. The edge has gone. And despite running 13.09 just recently, I have to say that he really is under a little bit of pressure in every sense at the moment. He hit the first hurdle and went to the right of his lane, just on the left of your screen now, Colin. Tensing shoulders, under real pressure. Look at the contrast at the moment between Nehemiah in the all blue. The former world record holder, 12.93, as David Coleman was saying, was 10 years ago. Looks good, and Colin under real pressure and in a little bit of trouble. Tony Dees on the right is much taller and makes room for the hurdles in a slightly different way. The contrast in techniques in high hurdling there for you to see. Nehemiah is certainly the flowing athlete. I remember saying of him once, he has the technique that you can't coach. It just makes room. That trail leg comes through. He flows beautifully into the next hurdle. There's such a determination on his face. Dees lacking balance at this stage, off balance coming off the hurdle, almost a smile on his face there, knowing that once again he's messed it up and he could have won it. And instead of that, he's in second place to this fella once again.
Nehemiah, of course, off the track for quite a long time. He became an American professional footballer, didn't quite make it. But he's certainly returning to form now. Well, now the women's 3,000 metres, and in this going...
Jarrett in 5, so Jarrett's between the two Americans, Foster and Pierce. Shiskin and Philibert, 2 Europeans in lanes 1 and 2, and Schwarthoff and Lee, of Germany and China, respectively. Foster says he's in the best form of his entire life. He's got a personal best of 13.03. He set that back in, what, 1981. And that was the race in which Ronaldo Nehemiah broke the world record and went under 13 seconds for the first time. Foster's never been under 13 seconds, and of course he would dearly love to do that. He hasn't won an Olympic title, he hasn't broken the world record, he's done most other things. But Jarrett, this is a real opportunity for him to come of age. He did so well in the semi-finals, beating Foster, although just one little word of caution, Foster didn't have the best race and wasn't decisively beaten. And Foster has got to be the favourite in this race. But Jarrett, from the Haringey Club, John Isaacs, his coach, he's done some lovely things in his career so far for a young man. Silver medal in the European Championships, silver medal in the Commonwealth Games, and of course that was all down to the presence of Colin Jackson. But this is his chance, a real chance. So, Pierce next to Jarrett. He's a 13.23 man as well, so there's going to be pressure from his right as well as on his left. But look at the big three. McCoy on the right, Foster in the middle, Jarrett on the left. And Pierce must not be forgotten in this these moments of tension. What must be going through Tony Jarrett's mind? He's not been totally consistent in his career yet. He's 6th on the world all-time list, but remember, he's only 23, he's got a long way to go. Shiskin of the Soviet Union, 13.52 in the semi-final, the Soviet champion for the 3rd time. Philibert of France, 7th in the World Indoor Championships. He won the French outdoor title too. He's going well at the moment. McCoy, born in Guyana, Commonwealth champion in 82 and 86. Such a dynamic starter. Very fast out of the blocks. That will have to be contained. Greg Foster from Maywood, Illinois, has had his problems in Olympic championships, but the World Championships has always seen him in very good stead. He defends his title. He doesn't need motivating, he said. The opposition is tough enough. Very difficult man to beat. A young British pretender, Tony Jarrett, from the Haringey Club, anxious to prove himself. Pearce cannot be forgotten. 28 now, fourth in the last World Championships from New Jersey. Equaled his personal best in the heat, so he's building in confidence. 13.23. Florian Schwarzhoff, the tallest of the world-class hurdlers, he's 6'7". German champion for the last 2 seasons, holds the German record at 13.37. Li of China, 24 years old, American-based at Washington State University. He's got a best of 13.37. These are the moments you think about throughout those winter months. The final of the men's 110 meters high hurdles. Shishkin, Philibert, McCoy, Foster, Jarrett, Pearce, Schwarzhoff, and Lee. Can Foster make it 3 in a row? Oh, and Foster got the false start, and Foster was anxious to get away. And just remember what I said at the beginning. He knows who the fast starter is. He's on his left, Mark McCoy, and that was all about getting away before McCoy. And Jarrett, of course, was ahead of him in that semi-final yesterday. So Foster puts high regard on the start. Whoever gets to the first hurdle first establishes the rhythm of the race. It makes life a little easier. Have a look at the 4th lane in, and Foster's away. The defending champion, the edgiest of them all. Shishkin, Philibert, McCoy, Foster here in 4. Jarrett next to him, then Pearce, then Schwarzhoff, then Lee. Away this time, and Jarrett's got away well, and McCoy leading at the moment. Foster coming through, and Jarrett's got a lot of work to do. Pearce coming through, and Foster coming through to retain his title, and on the other side it's Pearce, and Foster's going to win it. Pearce in second place, and a bronze medal for Tony Jarrett. 13.08, a new championship record, and Greg Foster, the man, has made it 3 world titles in a row. Well, it was about America, it was about Britain. But Foster got the start he wanted, and remember, he'd had a false start. My goodness, that was better. And look at the look on their faces. They're watching it on the big scoreboard at the far end of the arena. Foster and Pearce. Let us watch it together. Jarrett didn't get particularly well away. Foster is well. McCoy got his usual good start. This is where Foster starts to pull him down. This time the rhythm was there. Jarrett under pressure on his right as well as on his left. And McCoy starts to fade a little. And Jarrett storms through to overtake the Canadian. Foster is a true champion. He truly deserves this. Foster gets it. Or does he? I think he gets it. And Pearce in second. And Jarrett in third. It's very, very close. We'll have a look at the freeze frame again on the first time through. For me, Foster got it, but Pearce was closing, and it gets worse every time we watch the slow motion. He gets closer each time. Foster stormed through, and Pearce was closing him down. I have to say, I think that Foster got it just, but it was only just. He leaned forward, and the top of his chest seems to me to be on that line, but we'll have to wait for a photograph. I went with Foster, I stay with Foster, but it was so close. Well, let's have a look now. This is the moment of truth. Well, which do you make it?
Well, you can't get much closer to a dead heat than that, can you? I mean, there's no doubt at all that Foster thought he'd won. There's no doubt, too, that Pierce thought Foster had won. But then when they looked up at the screen, they looked at each other. And on the way round the track, it's been played twice on the big screen. Each time they've stopped this lap of honour to have another look. And I'm sure they don't know as yet.
Well, actually, they've given them both the same time on the... Oh, Foster got it from Pierce, both 13.06 according to our computer now, with Jarrett third in 13.25. So first impressions do count. What a performance by Greg Foster, and there it is. Foster 13.06, Pierce 13.06, Jarrett 13.25, and Britain have got the bronze. They do not come any closer than that.
I just wonder, they've split that rather quickly, whether the actual judges, the photo finish judges, have had time to do anything about that. That's come up with the timing devices. How they've split them at this stage is not absolutely clear. Well, now Tony Jarrett, we're...
First three.
Jack Pierce of the United States in 6. Remarkably well to reach this final. Best of 13.5 from Hackney, from the borough of Enfield Harriers. A real opportunity for him. So the full lineup again. Teep, Valet, Colin Jackson, McCoy, Schwartzoff, Pierce, Dees and Jarrett. The final of the 110 metres hurdles. And it was Teep in lane 1. Very, very uneasy. Teep clearly the man to break, followed by Schwartzoff, the German, in the centre of the lineup there. To get to that first hurdle first, of vital importance. Teep tried it, it didn't work. So, look at the look of concentration in the face of Colin Jackson. He's won most things, but this is the one he wants, the Olympic gold medal. Jarrett, 13.17 this season. He's come of age of late. Teep, Valet, Colin Jackson, Mark McCoy, the Canadian, the fast starter, Florian Schwartzoff of Germany, Jack Pierce of the United States, Tony Dees of the United States, Tony Jarrett of Great Britain. The final of the 110 metres hurdles.
Yes.
Oh, Jackson got away well, so did McCoy, and Jackson going well on McCoy at the moment. McCoy leading, Jackson going well, and Dees going well. And Collins struggling now, he's gone. McCoy leading at the moment, and Mark McCoy of Canada. McCoy wins it. McCoy's the Olympic champion. I think Dees got silver. Jackson run right out of it. 13.11. And McCoy, the man that Jackson tipped in a sense, he said he was going so very well, and McCoy has realised his dream, and Colin Jackson, well, when it really came to it, hadn't quite got it.
Just watch hurdles after the start there. Jackson was right up with McCoy, just the start he wanted, and then the tension and pressure got to him. Crash, and watch the next one. He did well to stay upright.
Well, let's sort the silver medal. It looked like Tony Dees very, very quick on the second from the left of the United States. McCoy from Dees and Florian Schwartzoff going very nicely, the tall German. But look at Jarrett on the near side, and Jarrett may well have sneaked in. McCoy, Dees, and Jarrett. Did he get the bronze? It's between Jarrett and Pierce for the bronze, I fancy. And McCoy is the Olympic champion. Well, let's have another look at Colin Jackson. As you said, David, he got away so well. He was up with a fast starter, and that was where his quest for Olympic gold ended.
And in fact, he gets himself back in the race with superb hurdling. And watch here now. He's back in the race very much. He's in touch with a medal, and Crash, the last hurdle, beats him again. And Jarrett has got the bronze.
Well, on the computer, I can tell you that Jarrett is up as bronze medalist. It was very close, but Tony Jarrett, a bronze medal on the computer. He doesn't know yet. It was very, very tight. Let's have another closer look. Well, McCoy has often gone out quickly, and it came back, and have they changed it back to Pearce on the computer? Well, it's a photograph, isn't it? We'll have to wait. It first came up on the computer as a bronze medal for Jarrett, that's absolutely certain. And it's moving around and it's changing. Well, the computer's now offering Pearce. It's moved round. Jarrett's been pushed back into fourth place, but let me tell you that they both have a time of 13.26.
Just watching this is Jackson in real trouble, trying to stay alive. McCoy, the man he beats regularly, trains with, was sure he could take him, although he knew McCoy would be a danger. But Jarrett, on the near side, is the real threat now for Britain. Actually, Jackson does get himself very much back in the race, in spite of the trouble. And there's the photograph for the places.
Well, the computer reading may well have been a premature one, because they'll have to consult the photograph. It's beginning to look like Pearce, though, even on the photograph. No doubt about McCoy. The greatest race of his life. He's the Olympic champion. Well, Mark McCoy, twice Commonwealth champion. He was fourth in the World Championships last year. And so often run down in the final stages of a race.
The line there, you had a good run. It was a very close finish. We're still not sure. There's 2 times the same. How did you feel it went from your point of view?
Well, my coach started, John Isaacs, came down and he said to me, you're getting too close to the hurdles. So we have to move the blocks back. And I was just glad I got lane 8, because that's the lane I wanted. Because that's what I was running this heat. I thought, I don't want to be in the middle at all, because everybody be thinking about each other. And thank you, Ella, because she told me just relax, and everybody be worrying about you. Nobody, you know, I just stayed in lane 8. I just did my own thing. And this is my best training partner.
Hey, Hughie, you must have been delighted to be in that Olympic final.
Yeah, I mean, I achieved more than I could have ever expected. It's my target to reach the Olympic final, and I made it. I ran a personal best in the quarterfinals, so I'm naturally very pleased about it. I'd like to have done better, but I think I collided with the Cuban at the first hurdle, so it messed up my pattern, but I achieved my objective, so I'm really pleased.
Right. Colin, you must be very disappointed with that race. The third hurdle looked as though you were trying to carry it over the line.
Yes, that's unfortunately just what happened. Yesterday when I was in the second round, when I felt a bit off balance, I just nicked a little bit of the muscle by my rib cartilage, and that's been giving me a bit of problem warming up, and I think that's what's causing my trail leg to lower. But such is life, unfortunately. We can't play full risks in the Olympic Games.
Have a look at the race with us, Colin.
Yeah, sure. Well, I knew Mark was going to get out hard and fast, so I tried to get out as hard and fast with him, just keep my own thing going. But as you can see, my trail leg's getting lower and lower already, and see what happened there? I caught that one.
You almost fell.
Yeah, that knocked me back again, and I had to try my best to get back in the race. And I was coming again here. As you see, I'm coming back, but I hit this 10th hurdle, just coming up now, and I think that's what could have cost me the medal, but such is life.
Well, Tony, you've seen that. That's as close as I can possibly get.
Oh, man, I don't really think it would be that close. It's very close. I just hope I've got it. I want to celebrate, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed for AJ, because obviously we still want the Brits up there, and if AJ did it, if not me, I'm very, very pleased. There's 3 of us in the final, and I think the boys did tremendously well just to get there.
All right.
3 in the final. I don't want to do this, Tony. They're giving it to Pearce.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I'm very disappointed for Tony. He's worked hard, he's been injured during the winter as well, and to come back and be so close, it's just unfortunate for him. But all dues to Jack, he ran well to get it.
There it goes sometimes. Just got to work on it and make sure we get it right next time.
Well done, boys. You carried it off pretty well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Colin Jackson, a tremendous sportsman. So to Tony.
Road, you've waited since 1982. You've been battling internationally. You've had your ups and downs. Must have all been worth it tonight.
Definitely was. I put everything behind me, and I'll treasure this moment, I think, forever.
The race itself, it must have gone really smoothly. It looked as though it did.
It was for me. Usually in finals, I'm known to bash a few hurdles and tumble to the ground, but I managed to keep my composure this time, and things worked out.
You didn't notice what happened to Colin, your training partner?
Not until I saw it on the screen. That's the first person I looked for, because we train together with him on that side of me every day, and he's usually there. So I know something must have definitely gone wrong.
Well, it doesn't really matter because it was the Olympic Games final. That's what matters. Here's the race. Can you have a look at it and just see if it went the way you thought it went?
Yeah, well, I got out. What I was trying to do was get out first. Then if I knew if I got out first, I could relax, because the only person I really had to worry about was Colin. So after, ooh, I didn't see that. That's what I've done in the past. For me, I just did what Colin and Malcolm told me. Just get out, and once you get out ahead, just relax. Don't push it. You can't run any faster than 100%.